Good morning and welcome. You are watching Market Cafe on ET Now. I'm Nupur and joining me on the show is Meryl. Over the next half hour, we bring you what's making news across the global markets. We look at Asia and, of course, we bring you all of that likely to affect the Indian markets. We begin, as always, however, with a look at what's taken place in the U.S. markets. Well, the U.S. Stock futures are little changed after the major averages started the week on a sour note, pressured by persistent tensions in the Middle East and rising Treasury yields. In regular trading on Monday, the Dow fell nearly 0.5% and the S&P 500 declined in the same range. The Nasdaq Composite also lost 0.3%. 10 of the 11 sectors that are tracked by the S&P ended lower, led to the downside by communication services, consumer staples and financials. Now, the declines come as oil prices, of course, have climbed higher on fading hopes of a US-Iran deal. What we are also seeing, of course, in the meanwhile is that efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz do remain deadlocked. The 30-year Treasury yield also climbed to its highest level since 2007, reflecting concerns over inflation and rising government spending. Investors now turn their attention to retail earnings due this week from the Home Depot, Lowe's and Walmart for fresh insights on the consumer strength. And Meryl, of course, will take you through what's happening in oil. Meryl?
Absolutely. So you've seen that Brent crude has climbed over $90 per barrel on Tuesday. This has been rising for the third consecutive session as prospects for a new agreement between the US and Iran have weakened after President Donald Trump, of course, said he was not interested in extending the interim peace deal. The MOU signed in June, which was intended to give both sides a 60-odd days to negotiate a longer-term peace agreement, has officially expired. And that's why we've seen the kind of rise in oil prices extending sharply in just that one session. Gold as well has held above that $4,400 per ounce levels on Tuesday. This is after advancing for two straight sessions, supported by fading expectations for a Fed Reserve hike. This is following a string of weak US economic data that has come over the past couple of weeks. Markets are also now expecting the Fed to keep their policy unchanged in September and are no longer fully pricing in a rate increase by the year end, unlike just what was the expectation only a week ago. Moving over to the Asian markets, however, Asian equities did experience a sort of mixed bag in trading hours in the early hours of Tuesday's trade. This was with the MSCI Asia Pacific Index increasing by up to 0.3%. South Korean shares also rose by up to about 3% as trading resumed activity following the holiday in the previous session. While South Korean markets actually rose, in Japan, the Nikkei 225 actually traded a bit lower. It has managed a recovery from the opening lows, however, but the Topix index in Tokyo has clawed back into a positive territory after the bad start that we saw in trade in the Asian markets, at least.
And all of what's happening across the world, of course, is sentiment-driven, and this is because the US-Iran ceasefire has expired with diplomacy stalled and tensions around the Strait of Hormuz escalating sharply. The US President Donald Trump has ruled out extending the 60-day truce and threatened military action against Oman if it obstructs negotiations with Iran. Tehran, meanwhile, says it could shift to a fully offensive posture if diplomacy fails. Back-channel contracts with Iran's Revolutionary Guard reportedly continue, but commercial shipping through Hormuz has nearly stopped.
They're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. Look, we're in there for one reason. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. You understand that? Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon. And right now, them building one after what we did previously with the B-2 bombers, going to be a long time behalf. But Iran cannot have. It's very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We control it with the blockade, and I like the idea of declaring it a territory. We have total control over the strait. Now they can be a nuisance. They can put a mine in the water, and people don't like having mines hit their billion-dollar ships, etc. But the blockade has been very effective, and we're taking out. Now, maybe that will stop, or maybe it'll open up even further, but we're taking out millions of barrels of oil a week. If you look at the kind of numbers that we're doing, the strait is open, and the oil prices are coming down, and they will continue to come down. unless we decide to do something far more drastic than we're doing.
That's right. All of this while the neighboring country Canada is bracing for a fresh 50% US tariff wave, with negotiators still far apart ahead of Wednesday's deadline. The duties would hit nearly $20 billion of Canadian goods, including wine, furniture, dairy, clothing, and also hockey equipment. Unlike earlier tariffs now, these actually could even apply to goods covered by the US-Mexico-Canada Trade Pact, with auto tariffs remaining a major sticking point in negotiations. Now, while Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has said that talks with Washington remain intense and delicate as well.
And in fact, NVIDIA is backing up $105 billion in financing and compute for OpenAI's massive new AI center in Ohio. SP Energy will build and operate the facility under a 20-year lease to OpenAI. The deal also includes $4.2 billion of regional grid investment and NVIDIA taking a $1.5 billion stake in SP Energy. It is NVIDIA's latest major bet on infrastructure powering the AI boom.
And keeping with that tech beat, Anthropic's revenue engine is accelerating sharply ahead of a potential IPO. The company's annualized revenue rate has crossed $65 billion by the end of July, up from $47 billion in May and just $9 billion at the end of 2025. Now, according to reports, growth is being driven increasingly by enterprise demand for traction and the traction that we've seen in Claude's coding tools among developers as well. Anthropic is also reportedly targeting a roughly $190 to $200 billion of revenue by the year 2028.
Vista Energy has soared after billionaire investor Peter Thiel's hedge fund disclosed a nearly $76 million stake in the Argentine shale oil producer. Vista was Thiel Macro's second largest undisclosed holding at the end of June, behind Amazon. Now, the investment comes as Thiel has relocated to Argentina and met senior members of the government. Vista is Argentina's largest independent energy company.
And switching focus back home, the BJP has unveiled a major overhaul of its national organizational team, with party president Nitin Nabin bringing in a mix of experienced leaders, younger faces, and also greater representation for women. Now, there are also major changes in the National Secretary's Morcha leadership, media, and also the digital teams. And this reshuffle is coming ahead of a crucial electoral cycle, with Punjab, Gujarat, and Uttar Pradesh among the key states in focus. We've got Mohit on board to bring us more details on this.
The much-awaited new BJP team of Nitin Nabin has been announced after 8 months today, and it's a mixture of youth, women, and experience for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, when it comes to the National Vice President, the names of Vasundhara Raje Scindia, Tirath Singh Rawat, Ram Madhav, Baijanjay Panda, D. Purandeshwari, Rekha Verma, Varsha Ben Doshi, Bharti Praveen Pawar, Sardar Manpreet Singh Badal, Lal Singh Arya, M. Nagaraja, Tariq Mansoor, and Madhu Chandrasekaran are there. So there are in all 13 vice presidents for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, B.L. Santosh remains the General Secretary organization of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and we know for a fact that how there is a massive overhaul when it comes to the General Secretaries. Now, General Secretary is a very, very important post when it comes to Bharatiya Janata Party and election planning. Now, these General Secretaries usually are the in charges of 2 to 3 states. They travel often, and also they basically coordinate with the state unit when it comes to the elections. Now, Smriti Irani, one of the most senior leader of the BJP, who has been canvassing for the Bharatiya Janata Party for a long, long time, the one who defeated Rahul Gandhi from Amethi, but still she was very active in the politics, has been appointed as the National General Secretary, along with Biplab Kumar Dev, Vinod Tavre, Sunil Bansal, Satish Punia, Gajendra Patel, Harish Trivedi, and Sanjay Bhatia. So in all, 8 General Secretaries have been appointed by the BJP. When it comes to media, the media in charge of the BJP remains same, Anil Baluni, but when it comes to the co-in charges, there are 3 co-in charges now for the Bharatiya Janata Party when it comes to the media, and one of them being Pradeep Bhandari. We also know for a fact that how there is massive overhaul when it comes to the national secretaries, and the name of Sandeep Pathak has also been added to as the national secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now remember, this comes at a time when Punjab elections are around the corner, and Sandeep Pathak was the Aam Aadmi Party convener, and he was somebody who was associated with the cadre on the ground. He was said to be somebody who galvanized the cadre in the state of Punjab and in Delhi, and he has joined the BJP. He's a BJP member of parliament now. He has been appointed as the secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party just before the Punjab elections, and hence it's a very, very important appointment. Now, when it comes to Rohan Gupta, who is also the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, he came from the Congress. He also has been appointed as the national secretary. Now, when it comes to Taran Chugh, one of the more senior leader of the BJP, who was earlier the general secretary, and he has also been sent to Rajya Sabha by the BJP. He has been appointed as the office in charge of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, Yuva Morcha has seen a change. Tejasvi Surya was the Yuva Morcha chief, but now Vadodara MP Hemang Joshi is the Yuva Morcha chief, and when it comes to Mahila Morcha, Roop Kumari Chaudhary is the Mahila Morcha chief. Now, when it comes to the social media convener, Amit Malviya has been removed, and Deepak Mahaske is the new media coordinator of the Bharatiya Janata Party, rather the IT cell head of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We know that how this has been a mixture of experience and youth, and also women have been given proper representation, with line of Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying that women should be properly represented in the party, in the parliament, and hence the message has come from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, this team comes at a time when the elections in the state of Punjab, in the state of Gujarat, in the state of Uttar Pradesh are around the corner in a year or so, and hence this team will have a great job in hand to help Bharatiya Janata Party excel in these elections.
All right, so that major reshuffle coming in the BJP. But let's turn our focus now to the monsoon, which is gaining momentum across India. Monsoon deficit now stands at just 13%, and heavy rains are expected in Kerala today. Akansha is here with the details. Good morning, Akansha. Tell us what the day is looking like across the country.
That's right. There's no major change in the monsoon situation of the country, and the overall rainfall situation remains broadly same. Now, according to the forecast given by IMD, extremely heavy rainfall is likely over Odisha and West Bengal. Meanwhile, heavy to very heavy rainfall is also expected across Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, East Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, Uttarakhand, and Sub-Himalaya, West Bengal, and Sikkim as well. Now, on Tuesday, very heavy rainfall is likely over Himachal Pradesh and West Uttar Pradesh. Now, heavy rainfall is also expected over Tamil Nadu and Puducherry on Tuesday and Wednesday. Meanwhile, Kerala is also likely to receive heavy rainfall on Tuesday. Now, if we take a look at the Mumbai's 7 reservoirs, so it continues to remain under comfortable levels. As of 17th August, Mumbai's 7 reservoirs stands at 92.16% of the total live storage capacity. Now, if we take a look at the rainfall deficit numbers released by IMD, so East and Northeast India continues to report the highest deficit at 27%. Northwest India has a 12% deficit, while Central India is 1% below normal. Whereas on the other side, the South Peninsula continues to remain in a deficit of 21%. So overall, India's cumulative rainfall deficit number now stands at 13% as of 17th August.
Thank you, Akanksha, for taking us through that monsoon read-through. But switching focus, India is also preparing for one of its most ambitious indigenous naval programs, with 6 next-gen destroyers likely to cost around 80,000 crores. The roughly 10,000-ton warships will be larger than India's existing destroyers, with nearly 100% indigenous content targeted. We've got Srinjoy on board with more exclusive details from this beat.
This is a very ambitious proposal that the Navy has, and it's going to be placed before the Defense Procurement Board, headed by the Defense Secretary later this month. What is the proposal? It is a proposal for building 4 new generation destroyers, warships, and the cost 80,000 crore. Importantly, this will largely be indigenous, which means everything, engines or gas turbines, even weapons. Most, if not all of them, are hopefully going to be indigenously made and developed. Of course, a lot of these things are in the development process. Importantly, these 4 destroyers, These new generation destroyers will be 10,000 tons each, and they will have the best of weapons. What we are hearing is that apart from the engines and the gas turbines, which will be indigenously manufactured and are now being developed, they will have an extended range of the BrahMos missile, which could be 800 kilometers. It will also have long-range surface-to-air missiles. So this will be a very potent force. Now, naturally, a lot has to be done now. Once it's cleared, the proposal that is by the DPB, it will go to the Defense Acquisition Council later, which is chaired by the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and includes the three chiefs. Then it will go to the CCS, and finally, after that, it will be ready for discussions with the shipbuilders. Now it will be done indigenously. So indigenous shipbuilders will be responsible for building it. Now, the Navy needs these 4 destroyers. Some of their old Russian destroyers are aging. So are the Delhi-class destroyers, 3 of them. So by the time the first one is ready, possibly in 2035, the Navy will need them very urgently. So it's the DPB now, and then, of course, further steps will be taken.
Well, you are watching ET Now, and we slip into a very short break on Market Cafe. When we come back, we'll bring you more, so do stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us on ET Now. We turn our attention to the biggest corporate drama that we are seeing, and Tata Sons' annual general meeting is on the radar today after Chandra announced that he will not be seeking reappointment after his term ends in February of 2027. Anurag is in fact joining us now with what's expected today. Hi Anurag, so take us through what we are expecting to see in that AGM.
Tata Sons is holding its annual general meeting today. The meeting faces the risk of adjournment if there is a lack of quorum, and the quorum at the Tata Sons AGM will need at least 5 members attending the meeting. This includes a member jointly nominated by Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust. Sir Ratan Tata Trust has to abide by the restrictions imposed on it by the Charity Commissioner Mumbai in May. These restrictions bar SRTT from holding meetings and also from taking important decisions. This limitation restricts SRTT from holding a meeting to agree on a representative with Sir Dorabji Tata Trust for the Tata Sons AGM. The AGM is on the heels of N. Chandrasekaran, chairman of Tata Sons, announcing that he will not be seeking reappointment when his current terms ends in February 2027. A key resolution at the AGM, however, will be to reappoint Chandrasekaran as a director of Tata Sons.
Thank you, Anurag, for taking us through that. Definitely one of the biggest corporate dramas that we've seen unfold in recent times. But switching focus to the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that's the MeitY, that has cleared nearly 31 applications involving investments of upwards of 7,800 crores under the electronic components manufacturing scheme. They've also said that this is as the government is accelerating efforts to build a domestic electronic components manufacturing ecosystem and really strengthening that in India. We've got Mithali on board to take us through the stocks and the companies which are going to be in focus after the ECMS approvals. Mithali?
Right, so India is stepping up its push to build a domestic electronics component ecosystem, and on the base of that, the government has cleared 31 applications under the electronics component manufacturing systems scheme involving an investment of nearly 7,877 odd crore rupees. Now, according to the IT Secretary S. Krishnan, these projects across 10 states are expected to generate nearly 82,300 odd crore rupees in production and create jobs of nearly 10,000 2,000 in numbers. For investors, here are some key names to keep the stocks on your radar. Jyoti CNC, which has an approved project of 1,021 odd crore rupees in capital goods, while PCBL is another one. PCBL Chemical, it is said to invest 329 crore rupees. Acuitas Chemical, it is another one which has been approved. Its application has been approved with an investment of nearly 119 odd crore rupees, while Syrma SGS has approval of 60 crores of investments, and also Centum Electronics, it has a 54 crore project approvals for transducers. Now these companies could be worth tracking based on the approvals of these projects that they have received. Also the bigger picture, it's quite significant. With the latest tranche, total ECMS approvals have reached 106 applications covering around 30 product categories across 15 states, and cumulative approved investment has now added to up to 69,548 crore rupees, surpassing the scheme's original target of nearly 59,350 crore rupees. Now the key takeaway from all of this, that India is moving beyond electronics assembly now towards a manufacturing critical components, a structural shift that investors should keep on radar for sure.
Well, just to take you quickly through the Nifty implied open, it's fallen 91 points. So the markets, of course, bearing the brunt of what's happening across in the US-Iran tensions, as well as the US markets today. So we'll be watching out for that in the market that's up next. Thank you very much for joining us. But do stay with us on ET Now.